Let's work together now by cleaning the air that we breathe.
Welcome to AQMD on the Air. I'm your host, Leora Alpern. Our guest today is Aurora Wilson, widow of the late AQMD Governing Board Vice Chair Roy Wilson and Director of Community Resources for the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, also known as CVAG. Aurora Wilson, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Let's start by discussing your late husband, Dr. Roy Wilson, former Riverside County Supervisor and former Vice Chairman of the AQMD Governing Board. He first joined AQMD's board in December of 1987 and worked diligently towards improving the environmental and economic health for all Southern Californians for more than 2 decades. Can you share for our viewers a bit about your late husband's trailblazing efforts and how AQMD partnered with CVAG on clean air efforts?
Well, you know, one of Roy's great traits was collaboration, bringing people together, agencies together to the table. And you're right, you know, when he first started on the Air Quality Management District Governing Board, he was a member of the Palm Desert City Council. And as such, he was selected by his peers to be the representative on the AQMD board as representing the cities of Riverside County. And Palm Desert is a member of CVAG, Coachella Valley Association of Governments. And so you can see immediately that the linkage was there to have AQMD and CVAG work together. As you know, the Coachella Valley has not met its federal PM10 air quality standard. And it's by virtue of our desert makeup, it's been difficult meeting that standard. So what we have had to do is to work together, and certainly bringing on board the partnerships like with the Air Quality Management District, working with them to develop a Coachella Valley State implementation plan and bringing that to the table, and working together with the cities to bring that forward has been one of the areas that Roy worked very hard to do.
A major air quality challenge in the Coachella Valley is unhealthy fugitive dust coming from the evaporating Salton Sea. Your late husband led efforts to partner with fellow AQMD board members to both address this issue and also to bring alternative fuel infrastructure and vehicles to the greater Inland Empire region. Could you talk to us a bit about those efforts?
Roy was very concerned about the Salton Sea issues and the shrinking of the waters from the water transfers. He worked very hard with the Salton Sea Authority, which at that time was headed by Tom Kirk, who just happens to we're very pleased to say, our CVAG Executive Director. I understand that there is a Salton Sea Restoration Council that the governor is now considering eliminating due to fiscal issues in Sacramento. I'm not sure that this is a good thing. I've heard locally that it may be a good thing. But you know, Roy was of such nature that he would work with things the way they were. You know, he would fight hard for something, and if he lost, which wasn't often, what he would do is to work with that loss and make it work for the constituents of Riverside County. So I'm concerned a little bit about this Restoration Council if it goes away. But then again, thinking about how Roy would handle it, if the council were to stay, you know, he would again work within that to make sure that he would get the best results for the constituents of the Coachella Valley.
Supervisor Wilson also strongly supported co-funding actions to help industries in the South Coast Air Basin capture emerging global markets for low-emission technologies and products that help advance zero-emission technologies such as solar energy and fuel cells. What could you tell us about these efforts and how they can help Southern California's economy and environment today?
You know, Roy early on realized the importance of the basin and all that it carried. I mean, if you look at the air quality basin as a whole, we have the desert, we have oceans, we have mountains, wind, solar. I mean, we are just an incredible incubator for these types of wonderful solar energy efficient clean fuel projects. And these are the projects that he worked on, and he knew, and AQMD also realized that, and it's been an incredible partnership trying to bring all these projects forward, and we need to keep doing that, and because of all the jobs that will make and increase the quality of life for everyone.
Could you share with our audience a bit about your priorities as Director of Community Resources for CVAG?
I'm really busy. As the department director, I staff 3 formal committees at CVAG: the Public Safety Committee and the Homelessness Committee and the Human Community Resources Committee. Just as an aside, the Homelessness Committee was actually a passion of Roy's. He was very much into and supportive of working with the underserved, and homelessness was a passion of his. And he worked with CVAG to develop this homelessness committee. And one of the first things that this homelessness committee did was to identify the need for a homeless shelter in western Coachella Valley. And through Roy's efforts, a building in North Palm Springs was secured through some financial funding he was able to arrange. And so the cities had to come forward with the operations to pay for, for the operations of the homeless shelter. And it's been a great partnership. It's up and running. It's been up and running since December 2009. It's a 120-bed homeless shelter with a full multi-service center that offers a number of services. And this was all due to Roy. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to see the grand opening of it. He was there with the groundbreaking. But it's an incredible shelter, and we're going to be providing a tour of that shelter soon to AQMD's Executive Officer, Barry Wallerstein. Let's see, other efforts that I'm really working on also has to do with the Coachella Valley State Implementation Plan and making sure that the cities carry out all the actions that they're supposed to be doing as outlined in that plan. We also have the other landscaping, scalping efforts that we have oversight of, and our regional PM10 street sweeping program, which provides sweeping of all the regional arterials in the Coachella Valley that are done by alternative fuel sweepers.
Could you share with our audience a bit about the Coachella Valley Association of Governments?
CVAG is a joint powers authority. We have been in existence, for 30-some years, over 30 years. And we are a council of governments. Our membership is made up of all of the cities in the Coachella Valley, Riverside County, and we have 2 tribes that are also members, which is more unusual. You don't often find tribes that are members of a council of governments, but we have 2 tribes that are members here. And we look at regional issues, and we work together rather than working apart city by city. The results are so much better and beneficial for the constituents if we work together. That way we can all benefit. And that's what CVAG has been successful in doing for the last 30+ years.
Recently, CVAG hosted the Coachella Valley Energy Summit, where regional leaders in government, energy, and the private sector focused on the advancement of energy efficiency, sustainability, and green job growth in the Coachella Valley. Could you share with our audience a bit about this event?
It was a great event. It's the 3rd one that we have put on, and we had over 300 attendees from all over, and some wonderful sponsors. Our local utilities came forward and helped to sponsor the event, and of course the AQMD came forward and was a gold sponsor. We featured representatives from the California Energy Commission, and our own Supervisor Benoit, who's on the AQMD governing board, was also there representing the AQMD and spoke. It was, again, a wonderful turnout. There was a mayor's panel which we were delighted to have because it featured the mayors from our local cities talking about what they're doing individually and showcasing their own projects. And I think it was great to hear, for others to hear that are from outside the area, what it is that we're doing here in the Coachella Valley. We have so many different projects going here and have been so successful. The Coachella Valley really has the right to put on this conference because we have done so much, and so we're very, very pleased. And kudos goes out to Katie Barrows, my CVAD colleague, who is the Director of Energy and Environmental Resources. Katie was the power behind putting on this conference, and also thanks to our partner, the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership, that we work very closely to make this conference a success.
The summit also included a renewable energy workshop and bus tour that showcased what the Coachella Valley has to offer: wind, solar, geothermal, hydrogen, and biofuels. What were some of the highlights?
It was a great tour. I wish I'd been able to go on it, but it really showcased some of our great solar projects. For example, Xavier College Prep School, they showcased their solar project, and Granite Construction. Also, we toured the College of the Desert, their Desert Energy Efficiency Center, and what they are doing in terms of training. And of course, a tour wouldn't be complete without a tour of Sunlight Transit Agency, our premier transit system in the Coachella Valley, which uses alternative fuel, and showcase their hydrogen production facility. And it was a really good tour.
Aurora Wilson, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure to speak with you about your late husband's efforts, as well as the more recent efforts CVAG is undertaking to help clean the air and build a healthy economy.
You are most welcome, and I want to thank you and the Air Quality Management District too for continuing to recognize Roy's contribution to air quality. And Roy was always the one to say that it was never him; it was always the people around him that made things happen. So again, thanks to AQMD staff, particularly Barry Wallerstein, the executive officer, and of course your chairman Bill Burke, who always kept AQMD steady and keeps it moving forward.
And that's our show. I'm your host, Leora Alpern. Thank you for watching AQMD on the Air. Visit us at cleanairconnections.org to learn how you could help us clean the air that we breathe.